Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, welcome. Welcome to another episode of Le Pot Mondial. Today we are going to dive into a topic that's very interesting. I would say I'm very passionate about this, the world of soccer. But it might be a very sensitive topic for some of you depending on where you fall, whether you are a Manchester City fan or a Liverpool fan. Yes, I said it. We're going to dive right into that game and then actually do a quick analysis and actually talk about what is really going on with Manchester City. Like, what is going on at Manchester City? All right. Before we go ahead and dive right into it, I just want to shout out to our sponsor of the day or of this episode is Mokano Coffee. So if you are a coffee lover, go check them out. It's Mokano MOKANO coffee.com. So without further ado, see you in a little bit. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Again, it's your boy K. Again, we are starting another episode, and then today we're actually diving into the conversation about soccer. Again, look, Manchester City played Liverpool over the weekend, and it was a great game, in my opinion. It was a good game, very physical, and also, a good battle between the two teams. However, this is not the Manchester City that we are used to seeing. We're not used to seeing this Manchester City um, side coming into a game, feeling like they're going to be the second hand of the match. I'm gonna literally tell you what the stats of this game was, and based on the stats, it doesn't look like Manchester City were actually going to be the losing team on this game. Manchester City, basically, the score for the game was 2-0, as you know. Mohamed Salah scored his first goal on I think it was on the 17th minute, and then Soboslai was also the second goal scored in the 37th minute. So the first half is where all the action happened in terms of goals, and then they were shut down the rest of the game. In terms of possession, Manchester City had 66% of possession, and then Liverpool had 34% of possession during the whole game. Now, that alone is a lot. It's a big number. That means Liverpool was basically running the most, trying to chase the game, but they were the most efficient, it looks like. Shot on goals. Manchester City shot 10 shots on goal, and they only had 2 on frame. And then Liverpool only shot eight times, and then 4 of them were on target. The passing accuracy, 91% pass accuracy for Liverpool and 80% pass accuracy for Liverpool. So Manchester City had 91% and Liverpool had 80%. So really, when you look at it again, the numbers are not lying. Not lying in terms of performance, right? It just tells you that Manchester City really, really put on a shift. That like they, as far as were they actually trying to control the game. It looks like in terms of the numbers that they were in control of the game. Key players for me during this match were Mohamed Salah, obviously with a goal and an assist, and he just had a fantastic performance. He's been fantastic this season. Again, I'm not a Liverpool fan. I'll tell you straight up, I'm a Barcelona fan. I'm not even gonna deny that. So, but just looking at how he performed during he's been performing during this season, he's been phenomenal. Great season for him. Again, we're really looking at possibly a Ballon d'Or winner here. If he wins the Champions League, of course he's gonna be there. But again, you also have Rafinha from Barcelona, who's also performing great. No Vinicius Junior this year, unfortunately. Sorry, Madrid fans, don't come for me. But when we look at these numbers, like, we really have to wonder, like, what is going on at Manchester City, right? You can definitely you might say that Haaland wasn't there during that game, so it was a little bit easier for the Liverpool defenders to just like navigate through the game without having the presence of a striker that can just give him the physical battle, the aerial battle, and so forth, and the hold up play that Haaland brings into the game. But Manchester City has been struggling to actually score goals. If you go back into the last two seasons for me, I would say Manchester City had were close, very close from losing certain games or tying certain games, and they had a hero coming in with a last minute victory. And this happened, with Rodri present on the field, and they're definitely missing the presence of Rodri on the field. I'll tell you that right now. That Ballon d'Or was definitely a key player for them, offensively, defensively, and just controlling the park in the midfield. You have players like Grealish and Doku, who for me currently should at least start for Manchester City. Why are they not starting? I don't know. Pep has a different way of watching or looking at the game, and obviously he's a coach and he's been coaching for a long time, and I don't have that much coaching experience, so I can't really speak for himself. But it clearly shows that against Madrid, for instance, Madrid did not have people running at them the whole game. Like they needed someone to cause a threat to them. Like Doku starting that game for me would have been key. Um, Grealish as well would have been key. So to me, I feel like he needs to rotate a little bit. Gundogan for me is not a starter anymore. Like this guy just, you know, there's a reason why Barcelona actually decided not to leave him, and we did good because the man is finished. He doesn't have what is required to actually win championship anymore. Like this guy is he still can play. Don't get me wrong. He's a knock knock knock. He can control the ball, pass pass pass, but he doesn't bring anything that's really positive when it comes to moving forward, bringing the ball forward, and then creating chances to score goals. So to me, right there, I think there needs to be a big change that takes place for Manchester City, in terms of like just who they bring in into the midfield. KDB isn't the same since his injuries, since his ACL surgery. Like the player has not been the same. We have to admit it. He's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but not at the level of competing for Manchester City to win them titles. Maybe a midfield player rotation. I can totally understand that. Modric at a Real Madrid, for instance, that guy is still for me a top class midfield player that can put on the shift any day. And he's a rotation player right now, and he could start on any team. He could be a starter at Manchester City actually, and actually help them better than KDB has been in the last few months. Again, you can fight me in the comments if you want. I want to hear your thoughts on this. But this game was um an absolute disappointment if you are a Manchester City fan, and absolute enjoyment if you are a Liverpool fan, because this Liverpool fan has been waiting for moments like this for a long time. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. You guys have been waiting for this for a long time. Revenge, because City has taken the trophy away from you for a long time. Now, another thing we have to also talk about is the longevity. Clubs that have gone, forward and won like trophies back to back tend to experience fatigue eventually. And this Manchester City side is facing fatigue. You can say whatever you want. You can hate however you want, but it is the fact. It is true. They still have a few players on this team that can still bring light and that can still bring fire into Manchester City, like Phil Foden. Don't get me wrong, Foden is still a world class player, but he needs to do more for his team in the position that he actually enjoys more. Bernardo Silva for me is a good midfield player still. He still got a lot of juice in him. He just needs the support of a strong defensive midfielder, because defensively Bernardo Silva can get cooked all the time. Foden, I would see him play under Haaland as a 10, honestly. Marmoush has been great for Manchester City so far. He's been, an injection of pace. So has been Savinho, but Marmoush has a bit more goals in him than Savinho actually at the moment. And hopefully they can do better, because look at back in the days, anyone that came off the bench for Manchester City was a potential starter. Like it was really hard to just say, oh, he did not or he did deserve to start. Like those guys would come off the bench and score you some crazy goals. You had Mahrez, Gabriel Jesus, you had Sterling. When those guys come off the bench, You can't even be mad because you still bringing in guys who can inject pace, speed, goals, and everything. So to me, I think Manchester City is lacking it. He's lacking that at the moment, a deep bench. And they really need to go in the summer window and bring themselves a deep bench because that's gonna determine if they're gonna win season or titles next year. For this year, I would say just drag it along, play, do the best that you can with what you have, and then next season just come back strong and then finish it off. We already know Arsenal fumbles every year. So they'll fumble this year again. And I'm sorry, Arsenal fan. I didn't mean to call you out like that, but y'all will fumble this year again too. Um, but City, if they really want to come back next year, they will have to make sure that they go in the summer window and bring in some fresh, new, strong talent who really who are hungry and ready to win titles. Another thing that I can also throw it in there is Pep Guardiola. I mean, the man has been a legend so far, and no one has done what he has done for the game in the past decade. I'm never gonna lie to you. This guy has changed the way the game is played today. However, I think he needs a break after winning these titles back to back. He needs to do what he did after Bayern Munich. Go ahead on a little sabbatical, maybe take 6 months off, right? I think once the summer window comes, he needs to do the purchase he needs to do, and then just let the B coach or something handle, or his assistant coach handle the team for the first 6 months of the season and then come back fresh. I know the season is one of the first 6 months, but he needs a break. And then come back. Just do like Club. Club really needed that break, and hopefully it's doing him good right now. But however you want to look at it, I think really Pep deserves a break. Mentally, it is hard to cope, man, like with the media, press conferences, um, the pressure that comes with just constantly wanting to or having to win titles when you actually rise your team above to a certain standard, and then you have to maintain that every season. That's a hard pressure. It's hard pressure. So I really think that the man deserves a break. And all the praises he's been getting, but maybe he needs a little break as well, and then come back stronger. Who knows? That might be something good for him. All right. Hey, but this is what I had to share with you today. When it comes to Manchester City versus Liverpool, again, I need to hear your thoughts on what do you think is really happening in Manchester. Is it more than just from the sporting standpoint or footballistic standpoint? Is it just fatigue from the players? Is it the coach? Is it the club altogether? What is actually needed at Manchester City to bring in the titles back to the Etihad? Again, I want to thank you for watching this video today. If you really liked today's content, go ahead and like, share, and comment, and make sure you subscribe to our channel as we continue to discuss more exciting topics. Hey, if you actually want me to talk about your team, or you have a particular subject you'd like for me to discuss, go ahead and put it in the comment section. And if I get to have 1,000 likes of this video because of you, then I'll go ahead and talk about about your video. Again, thank you so much for watching. It's your boy Bila K. Until next time, peace.